I'll share a story with you.
Yeah.
When I said I back engineered my life, one of the things that happened to me was my husband and I were in real estate investing, and we were small time investors, didn't have a lot, didn't have a lot of ready cash on hand, but we went to this open house that was going to be an auction one day. It was a 3-story, 8,000 square foot home
Wow.
on 22.22 acres of land, with a pool and this enormous living room that had a 3-story fireplace in it. And it was just absolutely gorgeous. Well, this was so far out of our budget, it wasn't even funny, So,
Yeah.
so we're driving around the land, though, just taking a look at it. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was really beautiful out. And suddenly I got this intuitive insight, this download that said, and I just have to blurt those out when they come in. And it said, this is going to sell for 300,000. Well, this was back in the 90s, and 300,000 was worth a lot more than it is today, of course. But the house had sold a couple of times for around $1 million even back then. Today it'd probably be worth closer to 2 or 3 million. So the minute I said this is going to sell for 300,000, my husband said, "Well, if it does, we need to buy it."
Yeah.
But we didn't have 300,000, and at an auction, you have to pay cash, within 2 or 3 weeks when the auction happens. You have very, very little time to come up with the money, right? So if you're going to bid, you need to know you have the cash. So we proceeded to check into getting a loan on the house, and we found out what the down payment was and all of this. And we didn't even have enough money for the down payment, it just wasn't there. So we were debating on what to do, how to do it. We did, apply for the loan, but we were going to have to come up with the cash for the down payment to go ahead and execute that. So oddly enough, and there again, that's that communication on that universal mind level where I think we're all in communication, but we needed this cash. And suddenly there were 2 individuals called out of the blue with absolutely zero prompt on our part. One of them wanted to buy a little small garage building that we owned. It was an active business, but we owned that, and they wanted to purchase it. It was a neighbor that was close to the garage, and he wanted to purchase it and had cash to pay and could close that week. Then we got another call from a gentleman who had looked at a storage unit that we owned and decided he wanted to buy that. So he had cash and wanted to close that week. And between the two, what we had was the down payment for, for this property. So
Wow.
we proceeded on. There again, I heard it clear as day. I was going to sell for 300,000, and I've had this happen to me so many times that I believed it would sell for 300,000. But we were holding close to moving forward with the purchase of this at the auction on the auction day. And when I say charged energy, that's what I mean by, putting a lot of concentration on something to make sure that it does manifest, putting that property into a charged energy field. I didn't know I was doing that, but I was doing that at the time. I wouldn't have called it that. What I was doing was holding tight and following through with purchasing this property. So the auction day came. It started, the bid started at, maybe 100,000, 150,000. It quickly went up to 300,000. We had the bid and it was sold to us for 300,000 that day. So that's the kind of opportunities that have just kind of fallen in my lap. And it's like, well, this, I know I live somewhere slightly ahead of time because I'm often aware of things that are going to happen in the future, or I can scan and see them, scan and find them. So that's part of the SPI process is helping people to understand they can see the future, step out of the box, step out of the limitation, see future opportunities, and then be able to hold those in a charged energy field to manifest them all the way to their reality.